G'day, it's Jamie, and welcome to Where's My Yowie. Today, I'm reading a couple of old newspaper reports about a carnivorous tree hoax in 1897, so we'll get into it. This first article was published in the Riverine Herald on Thursday, the 9th of September, 1897, titled The Cannibal Tree. Certainly Australia grows and otherwise produces many things which are unknown to other less favoured climes. To wit, there is the sad-eyed ornithorhynchus, the bounding kangaroo, the sportive bunyip, and our peculiarly graceful lyrebird. These ought to be enough in the way of natural history novelties for any country. But it appears we also have a floral curiosity which surpasses even the deadly upas tree in its horrible attainments. True, we have not yet noticed this specimen in the nurseryman's catalogues, nor even in departmental reports upon our forests, but it must be all right, because that most excellent and truthful English publication, styled Answers, says so. It calls it the cannibal tree, and says in all seriousness, the cannibal tree is the tree to kill you, if you wish to die. It grows in Australia, and people are shy of it. This deadly tree grows up in the shape of a huge pineapple, and attains the height of 11 feet. It has a series of broad, board-like leaves, growing in a fringe at the apex, and strong enough to bear the weight of a man. The instant that a person touches one of these leaves, it flies up like a trap, crushing the life out of the intruder. Formerly, the natives used it for executing animals. Without desiring to be cruel, it would be interesting to witness a duel between the cannibal tree and the editor of Answers. The end. Okay, so this next article was published in an American newspaper, the Colorado Daily Chieftain, on August 26, 1900, titled The Cannibal Tree. Mrs. Ellis Rowan of Melbourne, Australia, who is at present in this country and who has travelled more extensively in the cannibal country than any other European woman, has told recently of the existence in Australia of a forest tree which is perhaps one of the most wonderful plants in nature. It will hold in its centre and devour a body of a man as readily as our insectivorous wildflowers trap the insects on which they partly subsist. The tree is called the cannibal tree. As Mrs. Rowan describes it, its appearance may be imagined to resemble a mammoth pineapple, which often reaches to the height of 11 feet. Its foliage is comprised of a series of broad, board-like leaves growing in a fringe at its apex. Instead, however, of standing erect, as does the little green tuft at the top of a pineapple, these leaves droop over and hang to the ground. In the largest specimens, they are often from 15 to 20 feet long and strong enough to bear the weight of a man. Hidden under these curious leaves is to be found peculiar growth of a spear-like formation, arranged in a circle, and which performs the same function for the plant as do pistils in flowers. They cannot, however, abide to be touched. Among the natives of Australia there is a tradition that in the old days of the Antipodean wilds, this tree was worshipped under the name of the Devil's Tree. Its wrath was thought to be greatly dreaded. As soon as the huge green leaves began to rise restless up and down, its worshippers interpreted the sign as meaning that a sacrifice must be made to appease its anger. One among their number was therefore chosen, stripped of his raiment, and driven by shouting crowds up one of its leaves to the apex. All went well with the victim until the instant he stepped on the centre of the plant and the so-called pistils, when the horde-like leaves would fly together and clutch and squeeze the life out of the intruder. By early travellers in Australia, it is affirmed the tree would hold its prey until every particle of flesh had fallen from his bones, after which the leaves would relax their hold and grant skeleton fall needlessly to the ground. In this way did its worshippers seek to avert disaster and be still the demon spirit among them. The tree's present name and its uncanny actions remind us that the cannibals of Northern Australia have also a playful way of scattering about the bones of a victim after one of their feasts. The end. Okay, I really like that story. Okay, so we'll just talk about Ellis Rowan. Okay, so she was an artist, but she wasn't formally trained. Her husband had an interest in botany and got her to start drawing botanical works, and she's a very prominent botanical artist in Australia. Here's a list of the medals that she's been awarded for her paintings. The International Exhibition in Melbourne in 1873, the Sydney International Exhibition in 1879. She got a special merit in the International Exhibition in Sydney in 1879, the International Colonial and Export Exhibition in Amsterdam in 1883, the Calcutta International Exhibition in 1883 and 1884, the Colonial and Indian Exhibition in London in 1886, the Melbourne International Exhibition in 1880, the London International Exhibition in Crystal Palace 1884, the Centennial Exhibition in Melbourne in 1888, and the World Columbian Expedition in 1893. And despite winning several gold medals judged by international artists against some of Australia's leading male artists, a disdain for her ability, artistry and capacity due to her gender resulted in a bias against her art that lasted for decades. Her art was housed in the National Library, not the National Gallery. Okay, so we'll get onto this plant. I love this, I really do. This is like absolutely brilliant, telling English people and Americans that we've got this carnivorous tree that looks like a giant pineapple, that it'll get you and kill you, which I reckon is absolutely fantastic. And the only thing I'm really disappointed about was she couldn't mention drop bears, because this would have been awesome to say that this plant is where drop bears live. Okay, that's it for me. I'll get back to you all next time. Bye.